Hey, it's CityCast Denver host Bree Davies. If you're new here, CityCast Denver is the daily local podcast where we talk about all things Denver in your podcast feed every weekday by 6 a.m. Enjoy today's show. Today on CityCast Denver, when it comes to food, Colorado doesn't exactly have a great reputation, but we should. So what's gone wrong? Do people know us for the wrong reasons? Producer Paul Caroli has been working on a secret project for months with the James Beard Award-winning podcast, The Sporkful. So to celebrate its release, Paul and I invited Sporkful host Dan Pashman to come on the pod and talk about what foods Colorado is known for, what we'd like to be known for, and everything in between. Today is Monday, November 10th. I'm Bree Davies, and here's what Denver's talking about. Dan Pashman, welcome to CityCast Denver.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
And producer Paul Caroli, hello.
What's up, Bree?
Well, Paul, you and Dan have been working on something together involving Colorado and your first love, pizza. Should we get into that, or where should we go? Where do you want to start?
I think we should talk about it a little later. I'm very excited to tell people about it, and it's out now. So we're gonna, we'll plug it all at the end. We'll probably get into it. But we had a fun idea we want to do today. But I think our listeners should get to know you a little bit first, Dan. So I actually have a very specific request of you, because listeners of the Sporkful know you well, but our colleague who used to work with you, Andrea Salenzi, told me a story. Yes,
Andrea and I go way back. Yeah, okay.
Maybe this is a surprise. I hope you remember this story, but she told me a story about food and fatherhood and McDonald's. I wonder if you will tell this story for our listeners.
Yeah, story is giving it a lot of credit, but it's just sort of a funny anecdote, I guess, which is that I think I recorded something for this podcast, The Longest Shortest Time, that Andrea worked on. And it was about how, well, I hope my parents don't listen to this, no offense, but when I was little, every Sunday morning, my dad would take me and my brother out for breakfast. Sometimes it was to our local diner. I grew up in New Jersey, so diners are a big part of our culture. So it'd be either a diner or we would go to McDonald's. And if we went to McDonald's, my dad would always get Egg McMuffins. He would always get one Egg McMuffin. I would sometimes get the McDonald's breakfast, sometimes something else, but he always got an Egg McMuffin. And I feel like on the way home, he would always like fart as a very specific fart that was like, I always came to think of it as like the Egg McMuffin fart. Like, it's very distinct. And once in a while, like someone else in my family will fart. They didn't eat an Egg McMuffin, but I guess it must have a similar chemical, combination. And I'll be like, oh my God, it's an Egg McMuffin fart. And I have it's just like Proust and the Madeleines, except it's an Egg McMuffin fart. And it just transports me back to my childhood, for better or worse. So, so I haven't had an egg. Now I kind of want an Egg McMuffin.
Do you after that?
I kind of do. I don't know. I mean, I wonder if I would fart Egg McMuffin farts. Half my DNA comes from my father. My innards could work in similar ways.
Well, trap your kid in the car, go to McDonald's, and try it.
But my kids can't verify whether it matches the smell. I would have to be the judge. Maybe I'll get my brother in the car.
Oh my God. I'm relating to this on so many levels. Just I have
100%.
a 4-year-old who's obsessed with farts and McDonald's. And just now I'm transported back to childhood of certain smells. This is wild.
You're probably making your own memories.
Thank you,
with
Dan.
him right now.
Oh,
you're
all
welcome.
The time.
Yeah. Well, enjoy your next Egg McMuffin, Bree.
This is the whole Sporkful idea. Talk about food to learn more about people. This is a perfect example. But our premise today is to sort of play on this episode that you and I have been working on, Dan, where we talked about Colorado-style pizza and Bojo's.
That's right.
This has been my obsession for a long time. The episode that we made for the Sporkful is all about this. And it's kind of me making my case to you, to the world, that Colorado has a distinct pizza tradition, and wondering why it hasn't been recognized. But it's not Colorado's only claim to food fame. And that's what we thought we might talk about today, is some of these other famous claims.
Let's do it.
Bree and I have done some research.
Yeah.
Bree, where do you want to start?
We don't have a long list, I'll tell you. Denver and Colorado, we have a few things, but they're things that I think people really know and maybe have feelings about. So the first one I think that's most well known, maybe outside of Denver, better than it is here, is the Denver omelet, which is
Right.
classic American diner dish. Diced ham, bell peppers, traditionally green, onions, sometimes has shredded cheese. It's an omelet. But Paul, can you give us a little bit of the backstory on where this supposedly, how it came from us here in Denver?
Absolutely. This one I think we have a good claim for, although the origins specifically are a little bit murky. There is a plaque in downtown Denver that says that a pioneer woman used chopped ham, green peppers, and onions to mask the taste of rotten eggs, like kind of hearkening back to pioneer days.
Yeah.
Which I think is a story.
Feels like a chuck wagon meal. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. But I think that's been.
I love that
Go
she
on, Dan.
gave up on the possibility of like not eating rotten eggs. Like that wasn't the
Hey.
option.
I'm going to eat these eggs.
Yeah, we're
you
going to
got
eat these
'em.
rotten eggs. We just want them to taste a little less bad.
But then perhaps a more true story from Adrian Miller, local food historian, very well respected.
Yeah, I know
He did some
Adrian.
research.
Great
He's the
writer.
best. In the Denver Post, he's quoted as saying the Denver omelet originated from a dish concocted by Chinese immigrants who worked on the railroads out west. Egg foo young, a mix of beaten eggs, minced ham, and various vegetables, was popular among the American Chinese community. Rail workers likely put the dish on bread to carry it with them.
That sounds a little more. The other one is like mythical Wild West, and this one's like, do you want to know what the Wild West was actually like?
Right.
Yeah,
Here's
right.
the real people that made it work.
That is fascinating to me. I love that, and it makes a lot of sense to me. And it's also like quick aside. Like we did a whole episode on the Sporkful that was partly about this question. It was sort of whatever. It's a long story about how the ways that different immigrant groups' foods assimilate into American, quote unquote, American food culture, and why some immigrant groups' foods become accepted as American much faster than others. And it's not necessarily about how long the immigrant groups have been here. It's more like European foods become American, like pizza and hamburgers, whereas foods from other parts of the world are still viewed as foreign. And one of the examples of this guy I talked to was specifically Chinese food, because Chinese immigrants have been in America for a very long time, as you say. And one of the points that this guy made, what's the one food you think of at 4th of July? Like the American Independence Day, what's the food you think of?
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs, right.
Apple pie? Oh, hot dog, sure.
Hot dogs they're sausage, they come from Germany. But he said wonton soup has been in America longer than hot dogs.
Wow.
Huh.
But
never would've
obviously,
thought that.
we don't eat wonton soup on the 4th of July. I mean, it might be a little hot for soup, in fairness. But the point is that, like, so the idea of this thing that we think of as probably like a very quintessentially like cowboy Americana food actually came from Chinese immigrants, I think is like a larger commentary on American food culture.
Yeah.
And also just a great story.
Yeah. It is a really good story.
I feel like the issue with the Denver omelet claim to fame, Brie, is that, I don't know, this is really for you. Like, do we even want to claim it?
I
it
mean,
good?
I gotta say, I haven't seen one of these on a menu in a diner in a long time. And it's not something I would order. And it's not something like my dad or my uncle would order, the thing that you're like, ugh, gross. My dad always orders liver and onions or something. But it doesn't even strike me as that. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't like a lot of stuff in my eggs. So I'm not the right person for this. But I might like the original version that you've described, maybe in a different way, like the way that the Chinese immigrants brought it versus the diner version. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. If there was some enterprising young chef in Denver who wanted to do a twist on the Denver omelet that maybe bring some of that Chinese character or Chinese elements back into it, that sounds like something I would order.
Totally.
Otherwise,
For sure. Yeah, I can imagine I could also imagine like a super upscale, hilariously fancy version where they have some sort of like artisanal heritage acorn-fed pork and like an egg souffle or something with like some sort of fancy peppers. Like that would also be really fun. I mean,
an elevated
yeah,
omelet.
right. I mean, that's not really my style, but it would be funny.
Well, Dan, what do you think? Should Colorado be making this? Should we be claiming this meal?
I think so. I mean, Brie, you started off saying that like you don't have a whole lot of distinct food things. So like this may be your best known, the Denver omelet. And like, I love an omelet. And my two favorite omelets, when I'm in a diner, I always choose between a ham and cheese omelet or a mushroom and cheese omelet. And So I know a Denver omelet is very similar to one of my favorites. And typically my technique is that I'll take especially if I'm feeling ambitious, I'll take the omelet. I'll get a toasted English muffin on the side, and then I order a second toasted English muffin. And I'll take the omelet, cut it in half. I may even, though I'm feeling really ambitious, flip it inside out. So the cheese is now on the outside, and I'll put the cheese side down into the English muffin because that helps to fuse everything together, and it puts the cheese closer to your tongue to accentuate cheesy goodness. And then I may put the hash browns in there too, and I make this sandwich with half an omelet and hash browns on an English muffin, and I make 2 of those. And that's a breakfast that's going to keep you satisfied when you're out on the ranch. Or in New Jersey.
It sounds like you just invented a really cool version of the McDonald's McMuffin. To me.
But my invention results in better farts, Brie.
Yeah. The hash brown, definitely. Yeah. I love it. All right, we've got another one. This is a much departure from the omelet. We're going to talk about Jolly Ranchers, which I know old school Denverites would definitely claim this. It was... Well, do you want to tell the story, Paul, of how we got where the Jolly Rancher came from?
Sure. Yeah, it's a sweet story. It's a short story. It's a couple called Dorothy and Bill Harmson who moved to Denver in like mid 20th century, bought a ranch north of Denver, opened an ice cream shop in 1949, but ice cream didn't sell in the winter, so they started inventing candies. And the one that we now know as the Jolly Rancher caught on. They eventually sold to Hershey's in 1997.
Wow.
I bet they did
and
well.
They had a factory here. Yeah, apparently people talk about the smell, the Jolly Rancher smell around Denver.
Yes, that was a big thing. So they operated here till 2002. So a lot of folks that grew up here from, I don't know, that point on late 50s on would talk about this smell off of Ward Road in Wheat Ridge, where you could like drive by and you could tell when they were making like the cinnamon fire sticks or the green apple or whatever the flavor was, you could smell it. And that's definitely like it's a core memory, I know, for a lot of folks that grew up here.
I mean, that sounds lovely. Were people upset about the air smell? Like, I guess, like,
no.
Especially if it was watermelon Jolly Rancher, like, I would take that smell. I mean, I guess maybe if it was like years on end without a respite, it could get to be a lot. But like, I would love it if once in a while the wind blew in a certain direction and it smelled like watermelon Jolly Rancher.
Yes, people definitely feel a fondness for that. And it is like, honestly, it's a memory I'm jealous people have because I don't have it. And it feels like such a cool thing. But also, Dan, you should know we are also known for a couple other smells in the air that are not great. One of them is the Purina dog food factory, which a particular neighborhood in town is known for. And then the other thing is it's a way to tell when it's going to snow. So the wind comes down from Greeley where the factory farming of cows happens, and it smells like cold iced cow poop, and that's how you know snow's coming. So
wow, that's unfortunate because I like the snow and I feel like I wouldn't want to have a negative association with the fact that it was going to snow.
I think it's okay for us. It's like welp, it's on its way. Right. We're just used to it.
Right. But I feel like this is a missed opportunity for Jolly Rancher. You know, so many companies, it's all about like new brand verticals and like different product integrations, like the way that Cinnamon Toast Crunch is now in like Hershey's Kisses. And there's a Cinnamon Toast Crunch powder that you can buy in the baking section of the supermarket and sprinkle it on anything to make it taste like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. They should make Jolly Rancher scented air fresheners. Like, why is Glade plug-in not doing like Glade times Jolly Rancher and make them so your like bathroom can smell like Jolly Rancher?
These would sell so well in Denver. People would love this.
Let's start our own air freshener company.
Oh my God, this would be such a big seller, especially for like Christmas presents.
Yeah.
It's like, it's that time of year to plug in my watermelon Jolly Rancher.
Right, like scented candles are such a big thing, but like, why not? There's so many scented candles that basically smell like foods. Why
Cinnamon
not?
Rolls
Why do you want to light something on? Why do you need a candle? Like just plug it in.
Just plug it in. So Dan, should we own this one? Should Colorado say yes, this is ours?
Sure. How could anyone say that you shouldn't own Jolly Ranchers? That's like plus I think that also people don't stop to really consider that name of the product. Like that is such a funny name. I love that it was actually invented by ranchers. Were they jolly?
Yes.
Do we know, Paul? Does the historical record indicate whether they were in fact jolly?
They looked
jolly.
Pretty jolly.
Okay.
They did.
then
Yeah.
I feel like you should definitely own that. Who doesn't like a Jolly Rancher? Like
I'm
an
with you.
actual human.
I think people don't get it. People don't, like, when I moved here and I learned this story, I was like, oh yeah, the words jolly and rancher literally mean a profession and a mood.
Right.
Yes.
It just seemed like an abstract phrase to me before.
Yeah. I think it's a great name. I think it's super fun. I like the word jolly. I think we should bring it back. And yeah, I say own it.
This episode is brought to you by the Denver Botanic Gardens. Experience the magic of the holidays with the Blossoms of Light at Denver Botanic Gardens, celebrating its 40th year. Walk through a mile of immersive, luminous light displays, which run nightly from November 21st through January 11th. Plus, enjoy holiday treats and warm drinks available for purchase at Offshoots Cafe and the Hive Garden Bistro. Oh, and Blossoms of Light is celebrating 40 years with a birthday bash, one night only on December 3rd. Enjoy themed cocktails, cupcakes, cookies, and roasted nuts. Carolers performing through the evening, plus free Holospecs glasses to view the lights. Also, watch a 4-year-old wear those glasses. The Holospecs blows their minds. Buy tickets now for all of the sparkling action happening during Blossoms of Light. Tickets must be purchased online in advance. None will be available at the door. It's a seasonal must. You got to do it. It's like I love Denver traditions. This is one of the best Denver traditions. Kids love it. My mom, who's a grandma, loves it. Paul be loving it. Paul and Megan love it. Get tickets now at botanicgardens.org. That's botanicgardens.org. This episode is brought to you by Curious Theater Company. Running now through December 7th, check out Curious Theater's regional premiere of Job, a psychological thriller by Max Wolf Friedlich that captivated Broadway audiences last year. The New Yorker calls Job engrossing, disturbing, and frequently funny, and the New York Times called it a chic, relentless Broadway thriller. Job stars Curious Artistic Company member Michael Morgan and Tully Sandvold and is directed by company member Josh Hartwell. Now in its 28th season, Curious Theater is Denver's home for stories that push boundaries and spark conversation. It's the kind of theater that sticks with you long after the lights come up. Tickets can be purchased at curioustheater.org, or you can call the box office at 303-623-0524. Tickets start at just $28, and CityCast Denver listeners get 10% off with promo code CityCast28. Go to curioustheater.org for tickets and more information.
When most of us want to learn a new language, it's not because we're dying to memorize grammar tables or ace a quiz. It's because we actually want to speak it out in the real world with real people. And that's what Babbel is great at, getting you there fast. Hey, it's Michael Zibiak, Chief Revenue Officer here at CityCast. My daughter's a senior in high school, and after graduation, we're taking a father-daughter trip to Spain. And right now, my Spanish is, let's just say, very high school level. Shout out to Senior Patty from Syosset High School. You tried. When we're in Spain, I'd love to do more than just ask where the bathroom is. I want to be able to chat with locals, order tapas, and actually connect, not just read the menu and point. So I'm starting with Babbel. It's all about small steps, big wins, and it's super easy to fit into my life. Honestly, with how busy things get here at CityCast, I love that Babbel's bite-sized, 10-minute lessons fit right into my day, between meetings or over my morning coffee. I'm excited to pick up some real-world Spanish before we go, so we can experience Spain like locals, not tourists. Doesn't that sound better? Right now, Babbel's got a special deal for our listeners. Get up to 55% off your subscription at babbel.com/citycast. That's BABBEL.com/CityCast for up to 55% off. Rules and restrictions may apply. Gracias and adios.
Okay, our next one, this one is interesting because it involves a very famous person in America. It's called Elvis's Fool's Gold Loaf, which is a single. I don't even like the description of this.
I don't know what this is. I'm excited to hear.
It's a little nauseating.
It's a lot, Dan. A single warmed loaf of bread, hollowed out and filled with a jar of creamy peanut butter, a jar of jam, and 1 pound of fried bacon, approximately 8,000 calories. Paul, what is the where did this come from?
So this is kind of a famous story. It's about Elvis Presley, the rock star, of course. But the legend goes that Elvis got a hankering one night for his favorite sandwich that he had tried on tour. And he was in Graceland, and he got some of his friends to take their private jet to Denver, where he showed up at the Colorado Mine Company restaurant, which operated in a town called Glendale, which is inside of Denver, oddly. But he bought 22 of the sandwiches and then flew back to Graceland that night, and he ate them.
Good.
But it's his favorite sandwich, I guess.
Lord.
Well, but wait, first off, I thought that Elvis' favorite sandwich was peanut butter and bacon. I didn't know that it had jelly in it.
Apparently,
according to Denver lore,
Okay.
it has the jelly. It's the jar of jam, and it was created disputedly by this guy named Nick Anderlakis, who later served this sandwich for many years at a place called Nick's Cafe in one of our suburbs of Lakewood.
But wait, another follow-up question. The way you described it, Bree, it's like a whole loaf of bread hollowed out. Do you mean do all 4 exterior walls of the bread still exist, and it's only like the center? It's like a jelly donut kind of?
this is how I imagine it, Dan. I'll be honest with you. I've literally never seen it, nor have I ever seen anyone eat one. It's mythical, I think, to me. But that's how I imagine it. Paul, do you?
No, that's what I imagine too. But I feel the same way. I can't imagine eating
it. It doesn't sound like a real thing.
it sounds like it's gonna have. I love peanut butter and jelly. It's probably my there is
Same.
no time of day or situation in life when a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is not appropriate. Like it can be breakfast, lunch, or dinner, afternoon snack, late night snack, whatever. That being said, I feel like this is gonna be too much jelly, like a jar of jelly. But I also feel like this is not a sandwich. It's not a sandwich. Whether or not it's delicious is not a sandwich.
It's like the turducken of sandwiches. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very
But you're saying
strange.
because it's not like two pieces of bread, it's a single hollowed out loaf.
Yeah,
that makes it not a sandwich?
Nothing is being sandwiched. You need two discrete food items, and it also needs to be something. I mean, I guess you could pick this up with your hands, but it feels like that would be difficult. Like a sandwich has to be handheld because this sort of apocryphal story that the Earl of Sandwich was either like too busy because he had a gambling problem or was running the Navy. I think it's one of those. So he didn't have time to sit down and eat with a fork and knife. So he just took his hunk of meat and put it between two pieces of bread, and the sandwich was born. So to me, one of the fundamental definitions of a sandwich is that you have to be able to pick it up and eat it with your hands. And I don't know this giant hollowed out loaf.
Huh.
If anything, it's more like a donut. It's more like a jelly donut, like a baked donut than it is a sandwich.
Massive donut.
Yeah.
I feel like a counterpoint might be that the Earl of Sandwich sounds like a guy that might have really gotten along with Elvis. Might have really enjoyed that plane flight.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
I'm also feeling the name, the Elvis's Fool's Gold Loaf, coming from a restaurant here in Colorado called Colorado Mine Company Restaurant, which, Dan, in Colorado, our mining past, it used to be more prominent in our sort of, even the architecture in our city and our popular culture. There was a lot of mining themed things. So this feels like a very good sales point to say, come down to my mining restaurant. I got the original Elvis Gold Loaf recipe.
Right.
But,
Yeah. I mean, I would say this doesn't seem like the best thing to own.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are looking,
omelette.
it feels like, I don't think it's going to be that delicious. It sounds like it's at least partly made up. I don't think it doesn't really feel truly tied to the region in the way that the first two did.
I agree. I think that's a good call.
Okay,
Well,
let me introduce the next one because this one's really for Bree. So I wonder, Dan, have you heard of Denver style green chili?
No.
Okay, Bree, what is this? Explain what this is for Dan.
Okay, so we get a lot of flack for this because it is not what folks expect who are not from here and maybe have never had it before. But Denver style Mexican food is typified by a couple things. One is we make a chile relleno wrapped in a wonton wrapper. That's one of the specialties here. But the big part of our Mexican food is it is smothered in our style green chili. So our style of green chili is as chilies, Pueblo chilies. Sometimes it's hatch chilies from New Mexico. We have a beef with New Mexico about this whole thing, but it's a soupy textured. It's like you can either order it as soup or you can get other things smothered in it. Usually a smothered burrito. It's pork based and it's spicy, but a lot of folks don't know that they're not getting like a salsa style chili, or it's a surprise sometimes. But
they don't know that they're not getting a salsa style chili, even though it's called green chili.
Yes. It's like green chili soup, but we would never say that. You can order it that way.
I would say that chili is a stew. So
it is, yes, it's a stew.
So are there tomatillos in it?
No, usually it's just green chilies. Just green
and
chilies.
What else? Just like
I've had some with chunks of red tomato, for sure. My mother-in-law makes it with red tomato. And then it's
gives
cubes
it a little
of
color.
pork.
Mm-hmm. And
Cubes of pork.
And what's the broth
like,
made out of? Is it just like cooked down? I mean, I feel like you need something that's going to release some liquid.
Yeah, it's like a kind of like a water flour base. I think that's really it. It's like water, flour, green chili, onions.
I think people use different kinds of stocks.
Yeah, you could use, because it's a pork. Pork is, the other thing too is it had to be Colorado green chili or Denver green chili, it's got to have pork in it.
Right.
But yeah, I guess you could use like a chicken stock or a beef stock or a vegetable stock. It's really the chilies that stick out. So whatever helps the salty base, whatever you use kind of gets overpowered by the chilies anyway.
Right.
But this is something that Denverites and Coloradans feel very strongly about.
This is something we want to be known for.
Yes,
right.
That's a good way to put it, Paul.
Look, it sounds good. I would love to try it. If people in the area actually are making it and loving it and want to be known for it, then I feel like you should own that.
Thank you. It is it's a point of pride for us. It's a point of contention.
What's the contention?
Yeah. Well, because it's like there's some fights over is New Mexico really the origin of this flavor of thing? Does New Mexico do it better? Is the big fight.
Is there something called New Mexico green chili?
Well, they do green chili and they do red chili, and they're kind of known for also Christmas, which is a little bit of both. But Colorado really tries to take ownership of it totally, but New Mexico definitely says, hey, also, this is ours. And that's where I think the border conversation is like, what borders were existing when this was really made? I don't know if it could just be regional, but people are very, very particular about it.
Okay.
Colorado versus New Mexico.
Right.
So, but it is, thank you for validating us. It's really important.
Anytime.
Thank you, outside food expert, for telling us. Thank you. We appreciate that. Okay, so we've got one more before we talk pizza. This one is wild to me because I don't know. Everyone knows what a everyone knows what a cheeseburger is. Paul, will you please tell us the lore of why Denver says that this is a thing that we've made?
Yeah, this is very funny. So, Dan, I think you're going to like this one. So this is, it also comes to us via a plaque. There is a plaque in Denver outside of a key bank for locals on the north side. You can go see this if you want. But the plaque says, Louis Ballast, who owned Humpty Dumpty Barrel, aka The Barrel, Colorado's first drive-in, liked to experiment with different burger toppings. According to Visit Denver, he tried chocolate and peanut butter on burgers. This is in the early 20th century. And customers preferred cheese. Ballast then secured a trademark, the first trademark for the term cheeseburger in 1935. That is our claim to the cheeseburger here in Denver.
And how long did he did that trademarks? I think expire at a certain point. Although maybe there must be. Well, I don't know. There must be ways to renew them, like Crest toothpaste. No one it's been around forever, or whatever example you want to use. Like, do they still have that trademark?
I don't think so. I looked for it in the patent office. I couldn't find anything.
I wonder if it was invalidated because, like, if something's too broad, then you can't hold on to the trademark.
I mean, to me, it's just like there's no way this was not happening like on the East Coast or somewhere that's a lot older than Denver itself. It just feels.
This was 1935, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like.
When was Louis' Lunch opened? That's the place in Connecticut that kind of gets credited. Let me look it on my computer.
Is that the place? I was like, that might be what I'm thinking.
There's another place in.
They're in New Haven, Connecticut. They do hamburgers. They don't do cheeseburgers, and they're like very militant there. No cheese and like nothing but ketchup. All you can get is a hamburger with ketchup because like that's how Louis did it, and whatever. Family run since 1895. Recognized by the Library of Congress as the birthplace of the hamburger sandwich.
Well, that sounds legit.
So
that's like about 40 years that it took someone to put cheese on it, unless someone else was doing it somewhere else.
I mean,
right.
I've just, as a Denverite, I've never bought this one, especially because we don't have like a place that's still around or like a family that claims it. It's just one of those out in the ether with a plaque randomly that says this came from here. So I don't know. What do you think, Dan? Should we own this one?
I don't think so. I mean, first of all, if you're going to own a regional food, you want it to be distinct. Like you guys have some stuff there that like was invented in Colorado or is distinct to Colorado and that people are making in their homes. And they're like, this is a local thing that we take pride in. Like, that's what you want to own. Even if it was true that this guy in Colorado was the first person to put cheese on a burger, like, who cares? Like, it just happened to happen. Like, it's by chance that it happened in Colorado. It was going to happen somewhere else. So I sort of feel like it's just not, it doesn't truly feel representative of Colorado.
I think if we were to own one of these, we have one in Colorado, not in Denver proper, but in Pueblo, Colorado, we have the Slopper, which is an open-faced cheeseburger with green chili all over it and diced onions. And Pueblo feels very strongly about that. And I think if we're going to own any type of burger, it's going to be the Slopper.
I think that's right.
Oh, this was so fun. But we have this last category.
Yeah.
Colorado-style pizza. Paul, do you want to... This is the intro to something else, something much bigger that you and Dan have been working on.
Yeah, so this section of the podcast is a plug for another podcast. Go check out The Sporkful, subscribe to it. It's a fantastic show. It's been such a joy working with you, Dan, and the whole team on this for the last few months. I'm so proud of this work and actually finally getting to the end of this quest that has taken so long and so much of my life and life force.
What are you going to do now, Paul, with all of this energy and focus that you won't be able to focus on Colorado-style pizza?
Boy, I don't know. I mean, CityCast listeners know I've always got the next thing cooking. I've got a million irons in the fire.
Yeah, people
I'm working on. So who knows?
Right.
But to just I guess like a very short version, because I think people should listen to the episode, is people already know Bojo's serves this very distinctive style of pizza. They call it Colorado style pizza. I would say any kind of thick crusted. So this is rolled, braided, or crimped cornicione. This was a heated discussion in the editorial meeting. How do we actually describe the Bojo's pizza? Is it crimped? Is it rolled? We kind of settled on a mix of all of those, and then honey served with dipping or drizzling. The origins of Bojo's in the 70s. And then, I don't know, the story is so fascinating, but I guess I kind of wanted to just talk to you, Dan, about like, what was interesting about this to you? Why did you want to talk about this?
Yeah, no, look, it's been a blast working with you, Paul, and I'm super excited for people to hear this episode. Even if you are, you spent your whole life in Colorado, I think that you're going to learn a lot and get have a whole new perspective on this food. I mean, you came to us and you were like, there's this thing called Colorado style pizza, which first of all, I had never heard of. I love a quest. You've been on this quest for 6 years to get to the bottom of certain questions. How was it invented? Why isn't it better known? I mean, it's mostly unknown outside of Colorado. So why aren't more people making it? And then kind of the more existential question that we eventually get to is like, is this a legitimate regional style of pizza? We know Chicago deep dish, and there's Detroit style and New York and all these others. Because there are all over the country, all over the world, there's people putting different things on pizza. Like, it doesn't mean that it's a unique style to that region. So what constitutes a regional style, and does Colorado style qualify? And I love that, it sort of means a lot to you, Paul, because you love pizza. You're not from Colorado, but you moved to the area, and it's sort of like, I think it means a lot to you to feel like this new home of yours, not so new anymore, but it was new when you moved here. This new home of yours has its own unique style, because that will be like an exciting, special thing about your new home. And so I think it's got a lot of great steaks, and I think you're phenomenal in your doggedness, and your personality shines through. And I think that it's just a super fun story. And so, yeah, I can't wait for people to hear it.
Dan, I have to ask you, Paul told me that you ordered some Bojo's pizzas on Goldbelly?
I did order some. I put a video on my Instagram at the Sporkful of me having my first taste of Bojo's pizza. I even paid extra.
This. I'm dying to hear it.
Yeah, I even paid extra to have them send their honey, because I wanted to have an authentic, experience, because they claim they're using local bees or whatever to make the honey. So I paid an extra $28 to get a squeeze bottle of Bojo's honey.
Oh my God.
And so I tasted it. I shared it with my family. I made a video of it. So yeah.
What did you think?
I haven't met many pizzas that I didn't like, and so I liked it. And I thought that the pizza itself, I think that my reaction was that it reminded me of bowling alley pizza, which is sort of like a lot of cheese, very salty. I liked the crust. Like the crust was more like bread. It wasn't really like pizza crust, but I love fresh bread, and I like that it was crusty on the outside, and you put honey on bread, and it's like always going to be good. Kind of reminds me, like, I'm Jewish, and on Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, it's customary to put honey on your challah. So honey, anytime you're putting honey on bread, it always reminds me of that. So, so I thought it was very delicious. I would not order it. It wasn't good enough that I would order it shipped to my house again. But if I was in Colorado, I'd probably be like, oh, yeah, sure. When in Rome.
That's fair. That's fair. I think it's a lot to think about ordering something special order unless you really have an investment in it. So.
I also I know that for some people, they want the pizza with they have Colorado style pizza at Bojo's with a lot of toppings on it. Paul, you had kind of encouraged me to do that. But first of all, in general, I don't like a pizza with a lot of toppings. Meat and vegetables release water and fat when you heat them, and they tend to make the crust soggy. But also, I just feel like anytime I'm at a pizzeria of any kind for the first time, I'm always going to try the cheese or margarita pizza, because it's just like, if you're going to be a great pizzeria, you have to be able to do that well. It's like you go to a bakery, show me your chocolate chip cookie. Show me your croissant. Before I get to this, whatever, the cronut or whatever sort of crazy thing you dreamed up, just show me that you can make a good chocolate chip cookie. And so that's why I had the cheese Bojo's to try it out.
What do you think this pizza tradition says about Denver and Colorado, really?
I'm not to be totally honest with you, I'm not sure that it says anything particular about the region. And that's kind of one of the things that we get into in the episode in terms of a regional style of pizza. I don't know that it could only have been invented in Colorado. I feel like the things that make it unique could have come from anywhere. They just happened to come from Colorado. That being said, that is where it came from. And there's a lot of regional food specialties and delicious foods all over the country that just, that some regional food specialties are a function of specific things of that region, but some are just sort of chance. Happened to be that the person who came up with the idea was there. So that doesn't invalidate it being special. But I don't know that it says something specific. But what do you guys think? Do you think it says something specific about the region?
I don't know. It's so funny. I really never thought a second thought about Bojo's Pizza until I met Paul. And I really didn't. But I'm also a person that'll eat gas station pizza. I love a Totino's party pizza. I am not a pizza connoisseur. Pizza to me is good in many ways, and I'll try any of them, and I don't need a specific kind. So I think it doesn't resonate with me the same way that when I lived in New York and I learned for the first time that Mexican food is not Colorado Mexican food everywhere. That's a different thing where I'm like, this is a thing that's in my bones of who I am. And I don't feel that same way about Bojo's. That being said, it's It's delicious. And one of the things about it is a lot of folks have memories tied to where you could get it, which was Idaho Springs originally. So
Right.
if you're a kid growing up here, you're going up to the mountains or coming back, that's one of those spots that your parents will definitely hit because you can feed everybody. You know what I mean? So it had a function. So
Right.
it has memories tied to it.
For sure.
But
And I mean, look, that's a huge part of any food, any special, like, you know, when it has in a specific place or when you have specific memories connected to it, it's always going to be special.
Yeah. Should we own this one? What do you think, Dan? Is this Colorado?
Well, this is, I mean, you know, I think you got
You got to
to
listen to the episode.
Yeah, this is going to be a
That's true.
tease here, Bree. Listen to the episode of the Sporkful, because I don't think that's such a simple question. There's a lot to be revealed. There's a lot in Paul's quest. And so I think that before anyone answers that question, you got to listen to this episode of the Sporkful.
I love it. Well, we'll have a link in the show notes. I'm also going to go watch your Instagram video now. I'm so curious.
Yeah, do it.
Dan, Paul, thanks for joining me. This was really fun.
Thanks, Bree.
Thanks, Dan. See you all next time.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed this show, why not take a minute to tell one-time Cheeseburger trademark holder Louis Ballas' descendants about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to our morning newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. And hey, don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Denver neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye-bye. And you're like, that looks like salsa. No. You know, my gringo dad made a killer green chili, and I don't know where he learned it. I really don't. He was like kind of a really good, I called him the MacGyver of cooking because he could just put anything together, white trash food, like mix, I don't know. But his was just like off the dome recipe.